You know, Doug, ever since switching to Workday, you've been a real rock star.
Rock star? What do you know about rock stars?
Billy Idol?
I mean, where's the skin-tight leather?
The shoes are leather.
Where's the unnecessary zippers? That thing!
Billy, rock star is just how Doug feels when he uses Workday.
Thanks, Rory.
I'll show you rock star.
Be a finance and HR rockstar. Workday for a changing world.
Billy Idol just stole your golf cart.
Thank you for joining us on Twitter Live today. I am Patricia Harris, Senior Vice President of Solution and Revenue Marketing, and I am excited to be rocking out today with Jim Stratton, our Chief Technology Officer here at Workday.
Thanks, Patricia. Great to be here.
Well, awesome. Let's get this conversation rocking and rolling quickly out of the gate. If you have any questions, by the way, for our team, please do reply below. But I want to have some fun with you, Jim, here with this first question to start us off. So first off, very serious question. Who is your favorite rock star? You have to pick one. And are there any lessons that you think we could learn from them just in the business community in general?
That's definitely an interesting question to get started with. So I think I'm going to have to go with, been listening to this individual quite a lot, really since the start of COVID, actually. So Jason Isbell, I think I'll go with for my favorite rock star at the moment anyway. Lessons to learn for the business community or to take away from his particular style and what he does. So there's a couple of things that I would highlight. One is he spent a whole lot of his career in a supporting role, actually helping out his band. He's a guitar player for those who don't know, and leads his own band now. So really playing in a incredibly talented but supporting role, I think is really kind of fantastic. And actually, his career has taken off a lot over the last few years. And actually, in the last 6 months or so, he spent most of his time promoting his wife, who's also a musician and plays with him. And her career is taking off now. And so seeing that kind of supporting role is really interesting to see from him. But more than anything, actually, the lesson that I take away from him is he's just an amazing storyteller. His ability to create a picture in your mind and kind of walk you through a path of a story that he's telling in his own mind is really amazing. And that ability to be able to do that back in the workplace, I've found to be really powerful, actually, in the last few years as I've been thinking about that and developing that as a technique internally. It's just incredibly powerful to take folks along that same journey that you're going on in your own head.
It's awesome. And it's funny, as I was thinking about this and thought, how would I answer it? I really struggled. And what I found is that I kept coming up with people that moved me and inspired me. And it's not necessarily what was the social cause they were behind and those things. It was more the fact that they were brave to go out and do it. I think it's so easy to stay in your lane, if you will, and to just, hey, I make music, I perform on stage, I don't need to comment on social situation or something else. And it's everyone's responsibility to lean in on those things that we feel passionate about. And I always find myself, from a musical perspective, admiring the people who are also a little bit more brave, either in what they're doing as an artist or a social cause. And so I ended up with a little bit too long of a list, which we won't get into, but it was a really interesting thing to ponder. So I like to think about, the people I work with, and I love working with outstanding people. And so you get to have these rock star people and these rock star moments. So tell me about this rock star moment you've had in your career. What's something that stands out for you?
I don't know about rock star, but in my own head, it's a rock star moment, I suppose. But I'll go back to actually before I joined Workday, the first half of my career I spent in aerospace and building spacecraft. And in the middle of that career, I was fortunate enough to work on a project called New Horizons, where we built a spacecraft that flew by Pluto. So we launched in 2006 and it flew by Pluto in 2015, and actually is still continuing on today, bringing back scientific achievements, which is really incredible to watch, to be honest. Super fortunate to be part of that project and work on that for a good 5 or 6 years. And the launch of that mission was 5 years in the making for us, and many more years for a number of folks. But the teamwork that it took to do that between the company that I work for that actually built the spacecraft, the teams at Boeing and Lockheed Martin that actually built the rockets on which it went, and the NASA team that brought it all together to integrate it was such an incredible cross organization partnership, negotiating engineering details and working through all these really tough challenges to get through. But the trust-based relationships that we formed across organizations, across companies, to achieve this thing that had never been done before was just amazing. And I learned so much about teamwork and again, building trust across organizations and what you can accomplish with really a diverse team working on a singular goal, regardless of the organization that you're within. That was just an amazing lesson and a huge accomplishment really for the whole team.
Really, your career has been deep in technology throughout. And when you are thinking about the future of work and we look towards that future, share with me some of the top technology trends that you are seeing that you think are really going to rock the world as we go forward.
Well, I don't think you have to look any further than AI and machine learning at the moment, right? The thing that, and I've talked about this a bit in other audiences as well, the thing that amazes me most about ChatGPT is that kind of everybody gets it all of a sudden, right? It's the future of AI and ML is not this far off thing that's coming eventually. It's here now, right? And we can really see how that type of technology is going to transform everything from day to day. You know, how do I write an email to my essay at school, to ask questions, to make reservations at a restaurant? All of these different aspects of our lives that are getting transformed faster than we ever expected. And a lot of that technology has been there. A lot of that promise and potential has been there for years. And we've been developing machine learning for close to a decade here at Workday. So we've seen a lot of this coming, but now the whole world gets it all of a sudden. And that just opening up the perspective and realizing the types of problems that we can solve with this type of technology is really been a faster acceleration than anything else I've seen in the technology space and in my career.
And what do you think about just folks who've been a little bit concerned about AI and ML, the impacts in the business? We talk a lot here at Workday about this idea of responsible AI. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's a few aspects to it. I think responsible AI it's not a new thing, but it is, the importance of it is more than it ever has been. And back to what I was saying before, just the proliferation of net new use cases and things we can do with it. Well, we need guardrails around that to make sure that it's safe, that it's looking out for individuals, it's looking out for society as a whole, because it absolutely can do harm. You know, there are things that can be done with AI machine learning that can cause damage to people and to societies. And so we need to protect ourselves against that. And so that really comes back to a foundational concern around ethical AI, making sure we're building responsible products, building responsible technologies, and bringing it back to Workday in particular. We've established this machine learning trust within Workday that is our framework by which we govern what we build and how we choose what to put out there. But that starts with, first of all, the principles around doing right by individuals, doing right by companies, doing right by society as a whole. But more specifically, it's around enhancing individuals, enhancing decision-making for individuals, not making decisions on their behalf. I don't think the technology or the world is ready for that yet. I think it's really about augmenting individuals and trying to get the most out of people and organizations rather than trying to replace them.
Yeah, I definitely think AI is rocking the future of work, and I think the implications are going to be profound. And I don't know that we're going to know what all of those are for quite some time, but it's definitely going to be an interesting journey that we're all embarking on together.
Totally
So
agree.
when we think about our approach here, a big part of that instantiation, or how people are going to start to experience this in their work lives, is going to be through how we think about skills and how we think about the impact on employees to combine this AI capabilities with this really newer skills-based mindset that is starting to be a very profound movement in the HR space. And so What are some of the things that you're seeing in that space, and what are maybe some best practices for leaders to be thinking about?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And you mentioned, as we're seeing this transformation to a skills-based economy in the HR space, it's I think it's much broader than just the HR space. And it's so I spend a lot of my time managing a technology organization, but also interacting with CIOs and CTOs and other organizations who are doing the same thing. They're managing a technology group and implementations of that technology and net forward development and things. And it's a skills-based discussion for them as well, right? So the skills required by individuals to get their job done today or to get tomorrow's job done, it's evolving over time, and it's evolving pretty rapidly too. Kind of back to the question about, how is technology changing and how is it going to influence? Just the fact that it is changing and changing very fast means that we've got to try to keep up by reskilling, by learning new things, by bringing on people with different skills. That's true across every part of the organization, actually. And so that's probably the biggest impact that I see is that it's a full C-suite, the entire organization needing to understand and learn skills and think about how to do strategic planning around skills, not only to fill the gaps of what they have today, but where the dynamics of the market are going in the future. Making that a skills-based conversation, I see across the board in our conversations with customers and partners. And I think the biggest challenge to all that is where to get started. Basically, how do I understand what I have today? How do I understand what I need for the future? And how do I, again, strategically plan and source for that? That's the biggest crux of the conversation that I hear today.
Yeah, because one of the things that I'm seeing, you picture you're leading a department, you might have 10 people, you might have 10,000 people in an organization that you are in charge of, trying to get your arms around what are all the skills exactly that I need right now. But because person A has a set of skills, how about you guess or think about what other skills do they likely also have and know about? So you can start to think about that, because as we get new projects coming in, new products we need to deliver, new solutions we need to provide to our customers, understanding who can do what becomes really challenging if you're just trying to look at a traditional model of what was the degree somebody had or what is their current job function. And so to move really quickly and think about how do we dynamically assign people and get them in the right projects, get people set up quickly, it's both what are the skills we need to gain, but what are the skills that already exist in our organization today, and how do we take full advantage of that? And trying to do that manually without AI and ML behind you powering that engine is very, very challenging. So I think it's an exciting space to be in right now, and love to see that we're on the forefront of that. So you talk to a lot of people. You mentioned, all the different folks that you're engaged with on a regular basis. And so share some examples. Like, who do you think is really rocking it right now in terms of they've got strong AI and ML goals and really seem to be going after it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Patricia. So I see a couple different segments where companies are really embracing AI, machine learning in different spaces, and setting the skills question aside for a minute. I think one of the biggest areas where I see companies really leaning into it is around the individual employee experience. And so if you think about the way an individual interacts with technology throughout the course of the day, think about yourself and your day-to-day and the different applications that you interact with and the modes by which you interact with it on your laptop or on your mobile phone or in a console in the break room, or however might be the right interaction for your particular work that you're doing. A lot of companies, rightly so, are really trying to optimize for that employee experience. Coming back to how do we get the most out of people? How do we make their experience the best? How do we make them the best version of themselves? A lot of that comes down to experience and making it easy to interact with the systems that you need to interact with to do your daily work. And so that's probably all of that. If you think about the interactions that you have with your mobile phone, we're all used to it now, right? All of that is all powered by machine learning, whether you know it or not. Every interaction that you have with your phone, everything that you do on it is all powered by machine learning. And bringing that back into the workplace and the experiences within the applications within the workplace, that's probably where I see the most visible success so far. There's a lot of work around automation of processes and the skills work that we referenced before, but I think that simplifying the user experience, bringing up the right content at the right time to an individual, that's probably where I see the most traction so far within the world of machine learning.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And you mentioned that that automation, that capability, and I think the brilliance for me from that perspective is it isn't just about doing things faster; it's also doing them more accurately. Thinking about removing even just mistakes in expense reports, all of those things. And so it does have a big impact, especially when you're getting to large volumes of transactions, for example. So those are things that I think are, I kind of nerd out about. I think are really exciting to see our customers taking advantage of that. And that's really a fascinating space as well. Okay, one last question for you. You've given us a lot of good insight here as we've talked through these topics, but what is the one best piece of advice you would give to someone who is really trying to become a rock star their own way, who's listening today? What would you say?
I think probably the best advice that I could give is just embrace the change. I think if you've paid attention over the last few years, pace of change is coming faster, and I don't just mean the technology side of things, but the business environment that we all operate in, right? That level of change is the new status quo. I think we don't know what the next thing is that's going to be coming along, be it macroeconomic or political or technological, but change is coming, right? And it's going to continue to come, and I don't think the pace of it is really going to slow down. And so embrace that and internalize that to the problems that your own company is solving, and bringing it back to Jason Isbell and the point that I was making earlier. Think about how to tell the story of where you see your organization going, your part of your role. What's the story that you want to take folks on to help them see that future state that you can see through all of this change that we have, and where you want that organization to be, and help walk them there. Be a storyteller within your own organization to help lead folks to that future state that you see. That's probably the biggest thing that I would say at the moment.
I could not agree with you more. I think getting started is just absolutely the right thing. And so, Jim, thank you so much, by the way, for being with us here today. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insights. And it's very fun for me that I get to work with an actual rocket scientist on a daily basis. So always good to engage with you. And thanks for sharing your insights. And, for our audience, just want to say, hey, thanks for rocking out with us today. And be sure to please follow our Twitter page, stay up to date on all of the latest insights for business leaders who are looking to rocket in their changing world. And we hope you all have a rocking workday. Thank you.
Thank you.